What if the person who never texted you first, who never made the effort, who left you feeling like you didn't matter, suddenly turned into the one constantly reaching out to you? What if you could turn the whole thing around without one dramatic talk, without pleading, without giving up your self-respect? Keep watching, because over the next few minutes, I'm going to show you something that quietly shifts everything. And here's the part that will catch you off guard. What I'm about to share has nothing to do with playing mind games. It has nothing to do with manipulation. It has nothing to do with faking indifference. It comes down to understanding how an avoidant person is built on the inside, emotionally, and then shifting one single thing, just one. And that one shift creates a feeling in them they're not used to having, a feeling that draws them closer to you instead of pushing them further away. Type the word soft in the comments if you're ready to dig into this and subscribe, because this channel goes into territory most people are scared to touch. Now let's go back to the start. You've probably come across the word avoidant before. Maybe you've read up on it. Maybe you've actually lived through it. Maybe right now you're thinking of someone who blows hot, then cold, who draws you close and then vanishes, who seems to genuinely care 1 minute and turns into a total stranger the next. That person isn't damaged goods. They're not doing this on purpose to wound you, but they're acting from a part of themselves that most people never get to see. And without understanding that part, you'll end up pushing them away even further without ever realizing you're doing it. Here's the heart of the matter. Somewhere early in life, an avoidant person learned that closeness equals danger. Not danger like fire, more like a trap closing in. They usually picked this up from a caregiver who was unpredictable or emotionally distant, learning that letting someone in leads to something bad happening. Maybe they were smothered, maybe they were overlooked, maybe the love they got growing up came tangled up in conditions, judgment, and pulling away. So their nervous system put up a wall. Not because they don't crave love, because they truly do. But every single time love starts getting near, an alarm goes off somewhere inside them. A quiet but powerful alarm screaming, "This is too much, too close, get out now." And here's the cruel twist. The harder someone chases an avoidant, the louder that alarm rings. The more messages you send, the more you show up, the more you voice how much you need them, the more trapped and smothered they feel. So they retreat, and you chase even harder, and they retreat even further, leaving you feeling rejected, lost, and desperate until the whole thing turns into an exhausting cycle that seems to have no way out. But there is a way out, and it begins with understanding something about yourself first. Most people who get pulled toward avoidant types tend to be anxiously attached themselves. You don't need any official label for this. It simply means you carry a deep fear of being left behind. When someone puts distance between you, something in your brain treats it like a crisis. Your nervous system reads their distance as a threat, so you reach out again, you over-explain, you apologize for things that weren't even your fault. You try to patch things up because being disconnected feels unbearable. And I want you to really sit with this because it's not a flaw in your character, it's just how you're wired. In the same way the avoidant is wired to run, you're wired to follow. And the two of you, the one chasing and the one pulling away, get locked into a dance that drains you both and nourishes neither. So what exactly is the soft contact method? Let's build it together piece by piece. First, you need to grasp that an avoidant person carries a fantasy, and that fantasy holds the key to all of this. In their fantasy, love feels safe. In their fantasy, there's someone out there who can be close without making them feel cornered, someone who's present without being overwhelming, someone who cares without demanding anything back, someone who loves them, and who also has a full, rich, interesting life that doesn't revolve around them. In short, an avoidant person dreams of a secure partner, someone who doesn't need them just to feel whole. Someone who won't crumble if they need some space. Someone who's genuinely fine, not putting on an act of being fine, but truly at peace whether the avoidant is around or not. And here's the key part. That dream person doesn't chase. That dream person doesn't flood their phone with texts. That dream person reaches out in a way that feels breezy, easy, with zero pressure and zero hidden agenda. Then that dream person simply goes back to enjoying their own life. That's the soft contact method in a nutshell. It's the skill of reaching out in a way that sparks curiosity instead of pressure. It's brushing against their world just enough to remind them you're still there, then pulling back enough to leave them room to come toward you. But let me be completely honest about one thing. This isn't a trick. This isn't strategy in some sneaky manipulative sense, because for it to actually work, it has to be genuine. You have to actually be okay. You have to actually have a life worth living. You have to reach out from a place of real ease, not from some fake distance that's secretly hiding desperation underneath. Avoidant people are incredibly tuned in to emotional undertones. They can pick up on the anxiety hiding behind a supposedly casual text. They can sense the moment you're pretending not to care. And the second they sense it, that wall slams shut again. So really, the soft contact method is two things happening together. There's the outer behavior, how you actually reach out, and there's the inner state, the place you're reaching out from. The inner state is harder to master, but it's also the part that matters most. Let me walk you through what this actually looks like in real life. Picture this. You and this avoidant person have drifted apart. Maybe there was a falling out. Maybe they simply started pulling back and putting up distance. Maybe the relationship ended or slowly faded, and now you're trying to figure out how to reconnect without setting off their internal alarm. Step one is what I like to call the clean pause. You stop reaching out entirely, not as punishment, not as a game, but as a real, honest reset. You stop initiating contact because reaching out from a place of anxiety only does more harm. Every anxious text, every long emotional message, every unanswered call reinforces their belief that getting close to you means feeling overwhelmed. You need to stop pressing on that door so they can finally stop holding it shut. During this clean pause, you're not sitting around waiting for them. You're not checking their social media every hour. You're not decoding their last message for hidden meaning. You're actually building something real. You're building a version of yourself that's genuinely at peace. You're refilling your own life. You're reconnecting with friends, with the things you love, with your sense of who you are, the parts of you that maybe got buried in the intensity of this connection. This matters because when you do finally reach out, and you will, whatever energy you're carrying will come through loud and clear. They'll feel it instantly, and what you want them to feel is lightness. Not sadness dressed up as a smile, not longing disguised as casual conversation, real, actual lightness. The clean pause doesn't come with a set timeline. For some people, 2 weeks does the trick. For others, it takes a full month. The test is simple. When you picture sending them a message, do you feel the urge to justify yourself? Do you feel like you need them to respond? Does your throat tighten up as you type? If the answer is yes, you're not ready yet. Keep the clean pause going until reaching out genuinely feels like a choice, until you could send that message or not send it and feel completely at peace either way. Once you get there, you're finally ready for your first soft contact, and this is exactly where most people mess it up. They wait patiently until they feel okay again, and then they ruin it with the message itself. They write out a whole paragraph. They share how much they've been thinking about the person. They apologize all over again. They pour out how much this person means to them. And just like that, they send the avoidant running in the opposite direction. Soft contact does the complete opposite. It's short, it's warm, it's specific, and it asks for nothing in return. It doesn't demand anything. It doesn't require a reply. It opens a small window and then leaves it up to the other person whether they want to look through it. Here's exactly what I mean by specific. A soft contact message isn't "hey" and it isn't "I miss you." And it's absolutely never "we need to talk." Soft contact points to something real, a genuine shared memory or interest. It's a way of saying I thought of you because something actually reminded me of you, not because I'm sitting here missing you, which honestly might be true, but that's not the thing you lead with. It might sound like, I just walked past that little bookstore you used to love. It's still there, made me smile. That's it. That's the entire message. No question asking how they've been. No follow-up if they stay quiet. No pressure whatsoever. Just a small, warm, specific moment that genuinely ties back to something real between the two of you. What does a message like that actually accomplish? Several things at once. It shows them you're out there, living your life, walking around, not glued to your phone waiting on them. It taps into something positive from your shared past. It puts a smile in their head, a memory, something that feels safe. And it asks for absolutely nothing. There's nothing for them to feel weighed down by. There's no decision forced on them. They can reply or not reply, and either way, the message just sits there, being warm. So what actually happens in an avoidant's mind when they receive something like that? First comes relief, because it's not what they were bracing for. They were expecting pressure, and instead, they got ease. They were expecting a conversation they'd have to carefully navigate, and instead they got something like a postcard from someone simply living their life. And relief, for an avoidant, is an incredibly powerful thing. Relief is what shows up when the alarm doesn't go off. And when that alarm stays quiet, the wall drops down, just a little. Then something else kicks in. Curiosity. They start thinking about you. They think about that bookstore. They wonder what you've been up to. And they notice something unusual. They notice you seem different somehow. You don't seem to need anything from them. You're not fishing for a reply. You're not sitting around waiting by the phone. And something inside them, that part that always wished love could feel safe, starts to wonder. And here's the fascinating part about how avoidant minds work. The instant they stop feeling chased, they start doing the chasing. Not always right away, not always in some big dramatic way, but something shifts, because the exact dynamic that used to trigger their defenses has changed. You've stopped being the one pursuing. You've turned into someone they have to reach for if they want you in their life. And reaching feels completely different from running away. Now let me be upfront about something. That first soft contact message might not get any reply at all. That's fine. You're not sending it hoping for a response. You're sending it to plant a seed. And seeds take time to grow. If there's no reply, you don't chase it with a follow-up right away. You go back to living your life. You let time go by, a week, maybe 2, and then perhaps another small, genuine, warm touch that asks for nothing. Not a repeating pattern of reaching out while they stay silent, that turns right back into pressure. but occasional, real, effortlessly casual moments of contact. Always warm, always specific, always free of expectation. What you're doing, little by little, is rewriting how they experience you. You're no longer the anxious, overwhelming presence that made them want to run. You're becoming something entirely different in their mind. You're becoming safe. You're becoming interesting. You're becoming the one person who seems to genuinely get how they're wired, who isn't punishing them for needing distance, who's still there quietly, warmly, with no hidden agenda. And that's an incredibly rare thing to come across. It's so rare that when an avoidant person actually experiences it, it tends to stick with them. It lingers in the back of their mind, because nearly everyone who has ever loved them has eventually handed them exactly what they feared most. The pressure, the demands, the feeling of suffocating. You become the first person who didn't, and that changes everything. Now let's talk about what's happening inside you while all this is unfolding, because the internal side of this process isn't easy, and I want to be honest about that. During the soft contact phase, there will be moments where you want to toss the whole approach aside and just say exactly what you're feeling. There will be moments where the not knowing drives you completely up the wall. You'll wonder if any of this is actually working. You'll wonder if they even care at all. You'll wonder if you're pouring time into someone who's never going to be able to fully show up for you. Those doubts aren't a sign of weakness. Those doubts are wisdom trying to get your attention. And the most honest thing I can tell you is this. The soft contact method isn't only about winning someone back. It's about discovering whether this person is actually able to move toward you once you stop moving toward them. It's a genuine test of the connection itself. Because if they never move, if their silence just keeps stretching on, that tells you something too. That tells you whether this connection could ever actually give you what you need. Yes, the soft contact method works for reconnecting, but it also functions as a way to uncover the truth. Can they actually choose you? Not while you're chasing them, but while you're out living your life, leaving the door open, and they're the one who has to decide whether to walk through it. Some avoidant people do walk through it. Some, once the pressure lifts and the fear response settles down, start to feel what they've actually felt for you, underneath all their defenses. And what surfaces is often significant, often much deeper than you'd expect, because avoidant people absolutely fall in love. They just fall quietly, internally, in ways they rarely show on the outside. And once things feel safe enough, once the alarm stops ringing, that love can begin to rise to the surface. And when it does, it usually arrives with urgency, because there's something about facing the real possibility of losing someone, not through drama, not through ultimatums, but through their calm, dignified presence, quietly fading back into a full, happy life that wakes something up inside an avoidant person. They start seeing you differently. They start noticing the space you use to fill in their life. They start missing, not the chaotic, anxious version of what you had, but you, the real, specific, warm, interesting, unbothered version of you that soft contact revealed to them. And little by little, the messages start coming back. A reply to your bookstore text, a mention of something that reminded them of you, then a real question, then a longer conversation, then a request to actually talk. And you'll know when it happens, because it will feel unmistakably different from everything that came before. It will feel like them choosing you, not reacting to pressure. Choosing. Now I want to spend some time on the thing that makes all of this possible, and that thing is emotional regulation. This is the engine behind everything I've described, because you simply cannot do soft contact from a place of inner chaos. You can't send that warm, pressure-free message while you're vibrating with anxiety on the inside. It will show through every single time. Emotional regulation means being able to feel what you feel without letting it control you. It's being able to miss someone deeply and still not send the message you know you shouldn't send. It's seeing them post something on social media and feeling that sharp pang in your chest and still not reacting to it. It's being able to sit with uncertainty, with silence, with not knowing, and still stay grounded in your own sense of self. This isn't easy. It's a skill, and like every skill, it grows stronger the more you practice it. The habits that build this skill aren't complicated or mysterious. They're simple, steady, and powerful. Things like moving your body, which is one of the most effective ways to release anxious energy from your nervous system. Things like talking to people who help you feel steady. Things like journaling, not the kind that pulls you deeper into overthinking, but the kind where you write it out and then let it go. Things like actually sleeping, which sounds almost too basic to mention and yet gets neglected constantly when we're in emotional pain. But beyond these practical tools, emotional regulation here demands something even deeper. It demands a real shift in how you relate to your own sense of worth.